Everyone is ranking vampires wrong, right? And let's talk about this. Why are fangs so important? Why did I choose fangs of any characteristic, right? I mean, a lot of movies focus on the blood aspect of vampires. A vampire's objective is to not die and to drink blood. And what is the tools that they use to drink blood? They're fangs. They pierce and then they suck. It makes vampires so much more intriguing than zombies, which are just corpses, walking corpses. They already died. Obviously, you can kill them again. That's stupid. That's actually stupid. That's stupid. The fangs that are the most successful at their job, which would typically be the larger, sharper fangs, are the ones that allow them to be able to drink the most blood. And that's how we're going to rank them today. We're going to rank vampires based on how well their fangs would be at drinking blood, or more importantly, how that affects the society as a whole, because that is the only true correct way to rank vampires. Let's go over the tiers. And our top tier, we got Teeth Go. Now that's some pearly whites. Now that's cream of the crop. You can tell there's some stuff there. You can tell that, oh yeah, they got a little bit of fang dichotomy. That's cool. Maybe deeply rooted fang lore. Maybe like longer fangs mean more powerful. Maybe they mean shorter. Sometimes this instance, it's not really clearly stated. And then didn't even try. Didn't even bother. There's some that are even anti-fang, which is to say that the fangs are so inconsistent that for some odd reason they said, oh, we're going to make this one have big fangs, but he's not going to be weaker or stronger because there's this other one that's got big fangs, and he's also just as powerful as the rest. And it is a crime. So with that in mind, given that these fangs are meant to be for the drinking of blood, which vampires have it done the best? Well, let's start with Twilight. Twilight vampires maybe have some sort of fang dichotomy. They have a hierarchy. There's lead vampires, head vampires, vampire lords, so they hide their fangs. How misfortunate. They sometimes have fangs, sometimes they don't. A little careless, but you can tell that they definitely had some sort of vampire hierarchy there, so I'll give it that. Nosferatu, one of the original vampire movies. This was based off the book Dracula, but for trademark reasons could call it Dracula. So Nosferatu is just the Romanian word for vampire. He's depicted as this deep evil, this undead that's been living for millennia. A very powerful creature, right, in the context of the story. Although maybe by modern standards considered a little goofy. And those fangs, oh my gosh, those fangs. They're so pointy. They're so sharp. And in that instance, we can say, now those are some pearly whites. Now, let's go to one of my favorite vampire movies of all time, Morbius. Didn't even try. They really didn't try. They're just sharp fangs. They got little pointy teeth, but they're just like choppy things. No elitism. It's just CGI battle. Kind of soulless. Now, one of the most unfortunate ones to me that I consider is The Lost Boys. I love The Lost Boys. Great movie. Why the heck are they anti-fang? Everybody in the entire movie has the same generic fang trademarks, which look good for the time. And they even have this trademark lead vampire who's like the twist villain, spoilers, is Max, the father-in-law who's coming to visit, who's in charge of all the Lost Boys, and his fangs are essentially the same size as the teenager, if not smaller, because of the proportions of him versus the proportions of this teenager child. And he's actually killed by a car before even the other vampires. So he's way more way trivial to compare to the other vampires. So it's this, oh, he's the twist villain, evil vampire, but then he's immediately killed off and run off. So it's the fangs, which don't change to reflect the vampire's power or seniority or anything like that. But they have a seniority and a hierarchy. So it's it's worse than they didn't even try. Terrible, terrible fang lore. Wait a minute. I Am Legend? That's not a vampire. Let's just talk about this for a bit. I Am Legend, the original novel, was created as this post-apocalyptic event where this virus came out and mutated people's bloods. It was supposed to give a scientific explanation explaining for vampires, not zombies. Why is the movie got zombies? Why is Will Smith trying to cure the world from zombies? Because, baby, zombies were hot in 2012. If you look at Adam's video, you can see that all of his mediums is concentrated around that 2010, 2011, 2012, where zombies were crazy. I mean, World War Z was just released essentially because it was zombies. But like, completely different from the novel. This I Am Legend, they transitioned from the deep-rooted vampire lore, which they explain, like why vampires would be weak to sunlight, why they're weak to garlic. You even see in the movie that the zombies are weak to sunlight, but that's just, they're not even vampires at that point, they're just zombies. But the book includes a horde of vampires, and more importantly, a class system. They treat the less infected as the elite and superior, which means that the vampires that have like more feral, more sharp fangs, more sharp claws, these types of vampires are considered the lowlies, the unrecoverable, the unredeemable, versus the vampires who are in charge. And for that reason, that's teeth go burn. Count von Count. Surprisingly good. If you look at his teeth, his pearly whites, you can see that they're rounded off. And they're prominent, but also not quite so sharp. And you can tell that this is not a menacing vampire, which is true. This man, Count von Count, is not a misunderstood character. And that is what we want from vampire medium, is that you can kind of get a good gist of what the vampire is. And Count von Count is a great vampire, that is. Count Chocula, on the other hand, what is this? What even is this? Look at those teeth. Look at those teeth. Those are not fangs. Those are buck teeth. He's not even a vampire. What's happening? Moving on. Next up, we have Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Slayer. This movie surprised me quite a bit. I didn't realize it would have so much action and lore within a Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer movie. They don't distinguish enough between the vampires. Some vampires are like immune to the sun. It's not quite fully explored. So there's something there. We'll definitely put it above Twilight, but you know, Abraham Lincoln, you could probably explore a little bit more on the vampire lore. Adventure Time. So Adventure Time, that's great. They're great. Probably top of eight. Marceline and her father, and you can kind of see as Marceline grows up from child, teenager, and then her father is an adult, you can see that their fangs are reflective of that. And you can see that their power level is scaling with their age. How well Adventure Time uses like even small details. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Didn't even try. They didn't even try. Now, on the other hand, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, probably some fang level. We see Dio, the OG vampire. I mean, there's definitely some emphasis of class of power of vampires in terms of like the ancient vampires that gave the power versus him. But again, underexplored. Now let's talk about the pinnacle of vampire class systems matched with the Fang. The Fang lore, Blade. Blade is this half vampire hunter, and you can prominently tell who's a half vampire versus an actual vampire by the size of their fangs. They're different. One has more of that raw power, and the other one is more of like a mix. And that's beautiful that they've shown that in just the Fang design. It's another S tier. Let's talk about Day Shift. Day Shift is great, and it's great for one singular reason for vampires. They kill vampires and sell their fangs for money. Vampire parts, all parts, but specifically their fangs. This is clearly indicative that certain vampire parts are going to be worth more or less based on the age, the power, the condition of these vampire pieces, parts, and fangs. And that's really important to the vampire lore. You can get such a great understanding. Hotel Transylvania. I know it's a kid's movie, but why does Dracula have these itty tiny fangs? Like, what's going on there? Like, actually, what's going on there? Like, he should be the most powerful vampire in that series, and yet, he is. But, like, look at these tiny fangs. They're round. They're soft. I hate it. I hate it with it. It's Thirst. It's a Korean indie film, but, like, honestly, didn't even try. They were going for a different motive. You can see with it that they're more on like the lust mixed with the bloodthirst aspect. Renfield, don't want to talk about it. No. We're not going to talk about Renfield. Their fangs are probably the most inconsistent and individualistic and have nothing It's just this vampire's got a bunch of sharp little teeth, and these ones got some sharp fangs, and we're gonna do this because this looks cool or creative. No, Vampire Diaries, maybe some deep-rooted fang lore. You can kind of see they're focused, and this goes for like True Blood too, which we don't have True Blood on here, but Vampire Diaries and True Blood are both going to be in the deeply rooted fang lore. They're more focused on the sympathetic blood aspect and also like the romance aspect for both of these, especially a big romantic tie episode. So it's like a TV drama for teenage girls. Sorry, teenage girls. I really wish that there's more there. You can tell that there's some vampire lore and class systems, but it's not clearly like fleshed out, and there's definitely no like appearance drawing feature for those. And finally, we got What Do We Do in the Shadows? This is the movie which eventually became a TV show, directed by Taika Waititi. They do a great job of displaying power level based on fangs. In fact, almost as good as Adventure Time. You can see that the eldest vampire has like these deep fangs. A lot of that like Nosferatu reference. And you can see that he's meant to be the ancient, most powerful, a little elderly, but they kind of like play it up. And that's great. So that's it. This is our Fang. I'm very happy with all these decisions. I mean, if we're talking about vampire lore, the Fang should be definitely representative of their power level or how they consume or a general... You know, now that I'm thinking about it, I think this tier list is a little unfair. And I'm looking at these tiers and I see something that sticks out. I know I said I didn't want to talk about Count Chocula again, but if we're really going to look at Count Chocula, like really look at Count Chocula, like look at those fangs. Look at them. I can't stop thinking about these fangs. Why? Why are they flat? Why do they not have that sharp, jagged edge? They're like buck teeth. He's not a bear, but he's not a vampire. No, this is good design. You can tell Count Chocula is not a vampire because his teeth are flat. And because they are flat, they are representative of his true power, true nature, and true desire to eat chocolate-flavored cereal. His teeth are well designed for that feature. And you can tell by him that he doesn't look menacing, but he's not powerful. He's not meant to be powerful. Not only Count on Count, but this is even better because they put actual effort into the fangs to let you know these aren't sharp. This man isn't going out for blood, out for power and desire. He's out for chocolate. And that is good fang design. Count Chocula is the greatest version of vampire fang